Good Wednesday, one and all. Welcome to another edition of Yankees Latest. I'm Marc Malusis, Fan Arch Network. Happy Wednesday, one and all. Bombers, that was a rocking chair. As I used to hear from Mike Francesa when I was working at WFAN. That is a rocking chair of a victory last night. Regular season game, I get it. June, middle part of the month of June. It's a Tuesday night in the Bronx, but the Yankees go out there and embarrass the Chicago White Sox. Have been one of the surprise teams across Major League Baseball. I don't think there's any doubt about it, including their starter Davis Martin, who's been really, really good this season. The Yankees put up 16 hits, 12 runs. Just Goldschmidt continues the heater. Ben Rice, his 20th home run of the season. Now back-to-back years that Ben Rice has hit 20 or more home runs after hitting 26 a season ago. Spencer Jones, Jose Caballero off Luis Angel Acuna late in the game. Garrett Cole, very, very good. The Yankees making a laugher early by going out there and putting, 4 runs up in the third inning and then putting up 6 runs in that bottom half of the fourth inning. And then blink of an eye, it's at that stage, you're looking at an 11-0 game going into the top half of the fifth inning. Good night the lights on the Chicago White Sox. And the Yankees moved to 17 games over the 500 mark. They have a 2.5-game lead right now over the Tampa Bay Rays in the American League East. And that's what you love. Number one, I think you have an appreciation, number one, for regular season Yankee baseball. We could get frustrated by October. We can. And as we discussed yesterday, the motivation for the Bombers with how the Knicks have basically taken over the city with their NBA championship that they secured Saturday night down in San Antonio. And that's what you want if you're the New York Yankees. The Yankees haven't won a World Series since 2009. But one thing you can count on for the Yankees during the course of the regular season is this. They're going to give you a quality product. They really are. And they're going to make it an enjoyable experience. You're going to have a lot of fun. Not every single game, I get it, but still, the Yankees last night, if you pay your hard-earned money, I understand it didn't come down to, some tactical advantage in the dugout from Aaron Boone late in the game, that this was a laugher, but you sit back, relax, have your favorite libation, and watch the Yankees go out there and go to work. So it was impressive. You like the fact that, Ben Rice continues to go out there and rake. You like the fact that Goldie remains on his heater. Remember, we've talked about it before. Can't squeeze the lemon, but you got to ride the hot streak when he's seeing the ball as well as he is seeing it right now. And he absolutely, destroys left-handed starting pitching and lefty pitching. He did a year ago. He continues to do so this year. I think going into this series, he was hitting .417. The Yankees improved to 31-6 on the year when they record 8 hits or more in a game. That's 25 games over the 500 mark. That's that Don Bosco prep math that I'm giving you right now. So all well, a really, really good start to the series for the New York Yankees as they absolutely, demolish Chicago last night and win it 12-2. The other thing that impresses you or impresses me, and we've heard a lot about him since he was, a first-round draft choice coming out of college in Spencer Jones, right? We've heard he's a left-handed version of Aaron Judge. That is lofty praise or potential could go out there and be. We know that, teams have called about Spencer Jones, and the Yankees and Brian Cashman have said, I'm not necessarily sure. We don't necessarily want to move him. The Yankees have done a little bit of a hoarding of prospects, especially elite level prospects. It's got to be a really good deal for the Yankees to go out there and give up said commodity. And Spencer Jones is just the latest. Throw George Lombard into the mix. There's just others as well down the line. We can run through it. It's a litany. But I've been impressed with Jones. I understand he's only hitting .239. He's got a couple home runs, 7 RBIs on the year. Love the fact that he, worked the bases loaded walk last night. The power that he showed, hitting one into the second deck in right field to go along with that, I think it was a 448-foot blast to straightaway center field out in Cleveland against the Guardians, right? Those are the positives when you look at Spencer Jones. Here's the other thing that impresses you about Jones is, when he initially got called up, he was excited about the challenge, right? He was excited about going up against elite-level starting pitching because it was going to push him. It was going to challenge him as a hitter, right? Crawl before you walk, walk before you run. Spencer Jones was ready to dive into the deep end of the pool without necessarily knowing how to swim just yet, even dealing with all the emotions of getting called up to the major league team for the first time. like that aspect of it. Because you know what? It shows you the competitive nature of Spencer Jones. And that's really the discernible difference when you look at, elite level athletes, all athletically inclined, all athletically gifted. Obviously, some more athletically gifted than others. The work ethic that comes along with it. But they don't want to lose, right? I mean, they want to go through the scenario where they want to continue to go out there and constantly, win at everything they do, whether it be baseball, football, hockey, basketball, badminton, lacrosse. I mean, it does not matter. Pick up basketball game, at your, state park or town park, whatever it might be. They don't want to lose. Playing a video game, they don't want to lose, right? And that's the nature when you're looking at Spencer Jones is, the Yankees can give him a little bit of burn here, and he's going to get it due to the injuries that you see. And you're going to learn a little something about Spencer Jones. You're going to learn a little something about Jason Dominguez. But I've been impressed here early on in what we have seen here from Spencer Jones. Obviously, the power's impressive. I mean, when you're 6'6", 6'7", you got the swing that he has, and based on the swing, he's not necessarily going to be a pure contact hitter. I love the fact that he can work some walks. His on-base percentage is not less than 30%. That's a positive. When you look at Spencer Jones, the batting average has been diminished, or the emphasis on batting average across Major League Baseball is being diminished or de-emphasized across the sport for the last 5-10 years. I mean, people look at it and don't necessarily look at that as being a judgment of the overall impact of said player. I'm still a batting average guy, but I'm just talking about where the sport has evolved to and how players are graded out. So you look at his 239 batting average, you say at one point in time, 20, 30 years ago, you'd be like, you know what, he's got to go out there and make more contact. Not necessarily the case today in Major League Baseball with the velocity that starters throw with and the amount of bullpen arms you're going to see over the course of, every game over the 162-game MLB regular season. But Jones is impressed. I love the mentality, what's going on in between the ears. That's been impressive. And then you look at the physical gifts of Spencer Jones as well. That's something you like too. So there's things to build upon here. I'm not going out there and telling you that he's signed up, that he's definitively going to be an all-star for this team. But you understand why the Yankees, because sometimes you get a prospect called up, and you hear about, there used to be an old saying in Major League Baseball, well, he's he's got all 5 tools, right? He's a, 5-tool prospect. And then you watch the player and you say, well, what am I missing here? I don't see what the organization sees in said player. That's the opposite with Jones. Now, I'm not telling you he's a true, as they would define a player years ago, as a 5-tool player. When describing him offensively and defensively, or his speed and everything that comes along with it, hit for average, hit for power, everything that came along with 5 tools. But I'm not going to tell you that. But I can understand why the Yankees do like Spencer Jones, and love the way the team celebrated last night as he absolutely launched a missile into the second deck, just off the facade, I believe, out there in right field in a 12-2 victory for the New York Yankees. So he was one of 4 Yankees last night that went yard. We talked about it yesterday when, discussing Garrett Cole. You've gotten the good, you've gotten the bad with Garrett Cole. Well, last night against Chicago, and I get there was no pressure, but last night against Chicago, you got the good. He improved. He's 2-1 on the season, 6 innings of work, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Did allow the 1 home run through 90 pitches. 59 of those pitches ended up being strikes. Like I mentioned yesterday, when you look at Cole, it's going to be a little bit of a work in progress here for Garrett Cole. It's not necessarily going to be a case where he all of a sudden finds it. But I thought Cole in a game that became a laugher early, right? When you're up 11-0 going into the top half of the 5th inning. I mean, that is the definition of a rocking chair, right? But what you don't want to have the starter go out there and do is play with the food, right? And Garrett Cole didn't, right? He did not go out and, make it hard on himself. He was throwing strikes. He was throwing consistently strikes. I mean, 2/3 of his pitches were in the strike zone. You like that. Did get swing and misses. He had the 6 strikeouts. The velocity was where you wanted it. Wasn't working hard. You could look at the shape of his pitches was significantly better than the previous start that you saw from Garrett Cole as well. So all of those things were positives when you're looking at Cole, and I think it was a nice step forward to where you can build off of the start that you saw Tuesday night in the Bronx against the Chicago White Sox. It's not going to be a start that defines them. Like, we're not going to all of a sudden go crazy and be like, oh, you know what? Now Garrett Cole on this Wednesday. Cole is back and hop on the Cole train, and here we go. No. I think I've tampered down those expectations enough. I understand what the goal is, what the game is, where Garrett Cole needs to be toward the tail end of this MLB regular season. What you saw last night was, after taking maybe a step and a half, 2 steps back, Cole took a step forward. And next start, you want to see him build upon it. Take another step forward. Not every game are you, as a starting pitcher, I don't care if your name is Garrett Cole or Cam Schlittler or Carlos Rodon or any other starter in Major League Baseball. If your team gives you 16 hits, score 12 runs, you're up 11-0 going into the top half of the 5th inning. I mean, it's a laugher. You expect to win that game. But then it's a question of, all right, how does the starter look with that kind of a lead? And I thought Cole last night looked good, because there's other starters that could lose focus and not necessarily bring Chicago all the way back, but just aren't necessarily as locked in as compared to if it was a 1 or 2 run game. And I think you saw the veteran experience of Garrett Cole last night, and I thought he looked really, really good. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think it was a positive step forward, and there's a lot to like from what you saw from Cole last night, and what you want to see from Garrett Cole moving forward here is that he builds upon that moving forward, which I think he will. The Yankees, and it's been a huge talking point as far as, you haven't had Aaron Judge. It's been 12 games. The Yankees are 8-4 without Aaron Judge being a part of this team. Now, you might say, well, Moose, does that diminish what Aaron Judge is? No, it doesn't diminish. What do you learn from that number? We all go to school at some point in time in our lives, some for a lengthier period if you end up being a lawyer or a doctor, or maybe you get your master's degree in teaching and you're a professor at one of the fine institutions across this great country, whatever it might be. Maybe you just have your bachelor's degree, whatever it might be, right? Higher education, high school, whatever. Wherever your education journey did come to an end. What do you learn from the Yankees being 8-4 without Aaron Judge? Well, I think you learn a couple things. I don't think offensively they're going to be one and the same. Now, you might say, well, that's kind of crazy, because the Yankees just had 16 hits and scored 12 runs and embarrassed Martin last night on the mound for the Chicago White Sox. Yeah, I get that, but is that repeatable, right? Is that more of an outlier than anything else, right? Improving to 31-6 if they have 8 or more hits in a game, right? Is that going to be something that we're going to consistently see? The answer to that is no, right? And I'm not here to diminish the impact and the presence and even the pressure alleviator that Aaron Judge is when you're looking at that Yankee lineup. What I think you do learn is that there's obviously a difference between the regular season and the postseason, but there's enough on this team to where you can survive without Aaron Judge for a while. And the Yankees are going to do that, whether it be the starting pitching. I'm not necessarily going to go out there and I think when healthy, and they're not whole, they're not completely healthy right now, but when healthy, I think you can make the argument the Yankees are right there as having one of the top 3 starting staffs in all of Major League Baseball, right? Bullpen, even though they need to add, as we discussed yesterday, probably a back end of the bullpen kind of an arm, a swing and miss guy. The bullpen is not going to go out there and kill you, and there's enough in that lineup, right? Whether you're riding the heater of Goldie, whether it be Ben Wright's now and his 20 home runs, whether the impact of some younger players like Dominguez and Spencer Jones, you throw in the occasional Jazz Chisholm, you throw in the guy that you trust in a Cody Bellinger, there's enough there for the Yankees to go out there and consistently win games. People are going to look at it and be like, well, you know what, maybe now, and the idiots, right? The mouth breathers are going to go out there and tell you, well, maybe the Yankees aren't necessarily, they're just as good with Judge as they are without him. I wouldn't say, no, I think that's stupid, but I would say that there are different ways, just as we discussed the Judge injury when he initially got hurt. The Yankees can win games this year in a myriad of different ways in the regular season. You're going to need this team to be whole and healthy. You're going to need Cole to be back to his dominant self. You're going to need Judge to be the Judge that we saw last October. You're going to need Stanton to be big game Giancarlo Stanton when the Yankees get to October. The Yankees are going to go out there and win a World Series this year. There's no doubt, right? We all understand that. And there's going to be improvements to this team. Maybe improve the catcher spot. Cross the fingers. We only hope Brian Cashman and company go out there and improve the catcher spot. But I think in the regular season, what it shows you is that there's still enough, even with all the guys that are on IL for the Yankees, there's still enough on this team for them to go out there and play winning baseball. Will there be the occasional swoon? Yeah. I don't think there's any doubt about it. There will be. But pitching always plays, and the Yankees have enough pitching. Last night, use it as an example, right? We expected some sort of a pitcher's duel on a Tuesday night in the Bronx. The Yankees were up 11-0, knocking around Davis Martin going into the top half of the fifth inning. And you sat back, relaxed, watched that game last night, enjoying your favorite libation, and maybe having it on the background as you're making you and your wife or your significant other or your kids dinner, whatever it might be. And he said, this is, I want more of this. Yeah, we all would want more of that. But it shows you what it shows you is the impact of pitching. Cole was great, Martin wasn't. And the Yankees took advantage of it. I think they still have enough in that lineup, even though it's a little concerning, even though I don't think Goldschmidt's going to be this good for this long. I think Ben Rice is. Chisholm's going to run hot and cold. Bellinger's the guy you probably utmost trust in a big-time spot. You come out of last night's game and say, that's the way you start a series, right? Upstart Chicago team, you make an impression early, you daylight them, knock around one of their top starters. Cole looked good. You get the impact. You get 4 home runs over the course of the game. And Spencer Jones now has 2 home runs on the season. A big blast on the road in Cleveland. And then what you saw last night, the home run to the second deck in right field. Impressive. 12-2, Yankees to the good. Series continues against the White Sox on this Wednesday. We'll be back with you tomorrow. I hope everyone out there has themselves a happy and healthy, enjoyable Wednesday. Thanks for being with me, Marc Malusis. Yankees Latest, right here, Fan Arch Network.